Hello, today we're going to talk about the light tower troubleshooting. If you notice on your machine you have a light tower that has 3 tiers on it. This is for troubleshooting purposes. The very bottom one is your control power. So anything to do with your control circuit is going to be, the information is going to be on that bottom tower there. And then the middle light is going to be your safety. So anything like e-stops or push buttons or safety gates, stuff like that, will come on, or it'll give you signals if those conditions have been met. And then the very top one is your machine status. They should all be green. If that machine status isn't green, we got some areas for you to go and troubleshoot and try to figure out what's going on to make your downtime very minimal. First, we're going to start with the bottom one. It's your control power. If it's off, like it is right now, that means that there's no power going through your control circuit. So what you need to do is check your control circuit switch, make sure it's turned on. Once you do that, then, and that's verified that it's on, then you need to go and check your 24-volt power supply, make sure we have power going to it and it's all working correctly. And then at that point, you can check your control relay in the back. It's a CTRL relay. There's pins 13 and 14, which turn on your 24 volts to that relay. And then you have your SW1 that goes through the terminal block of the relay on the the common, and then it comes back as on pin 9. It comes back as power to the control circuit to turn the rest of the control circuit on. So we'll be stepping through that here momentarily in the back, but that takes care of the control circuit. Once that light turns green, like it is now, then we go on to our safety. So on our safety, there's a couple conditions on that. There's actually 4. If it's off or clear, that means that the program's booting up. So this is normal at the very beginning when you first start up a machine. It's going to be clear just like it is there. Once it comes up, it should be green. If it's not green, there's 2 other conditions that can be the issue. One is red, and if this red comes up, you need to look at the monitor and it'll tell you what the error is. Basically, it's one of the e-stops. Basically, on an e-stop, there's 2 contactors. They both need to be normally closed. So if one is open and one is closed, that means you'll get the red light. At that point, you need to, if you look on the monitor, it will explain which one it is, so you can go and pull that switch apart and ohm out both sets of contacts and make sure they're both normally closed. Okay, and then the last one, which had just turned blue, is there's 2 conditions. There's one that means it's flashing. This means that a safety condition has not been met, and there should be some information on your monitor again telling you what e-stop is not being made. Please look at that first and then go to the location. It could be like a safety switch or a light curtain or a safety cage door. And then we also have 6 scanners. It's a big round scanner that will actually scan parts of the machine. So if there's something broken in that area, it'll cause this flashing. Otherwise, it'll be a solid red. And once the light becomes, it'd be a solid blue. And once the light becomes solid blue, all safety conditions have been met like it is now. So at this time, you could hit the start machine button, and that should turn the lights on the machine status. Okay, as soon as you hit the start machine, as you just heard there, it basically starts flashing white, which basically is going through the initialization of the machine itself. If it keeps flashing and it doesn't continue on, what that means is that you want to look on the monitor again, the monitor screen, and it should list some errors. If there's no error codes on the monitor, and you just have to verify that everything's retracted. Make sure like all the I/O signals are getting back to the PLC as well, because it could be that you have a sensor that it shows that it's retracted, but maybe we have a broken wire. So you want to go back to the I/O modules themselves and verify that those inputs are actually getting to the I/O module. And if you have problems with this and you need help, you can call the Kval call center, and what they'll do is they'll get online with you, and then they'll go through the I/O and just verify what input or what sensor is not working, and they'll help you as well. But they should be listed right on your monitor screen. If there's a red light there, where that blue one is, if there's a red light there, that is telling you that there's an internal issue. That's basically in the PLC or in the computer itself, okay? And there's 4 different states of the red light. There's a solid one. This is a general condition that is not mentioned in the things I'm going to talk about below, but it should be on the monitor. If it's not on the monitor, you can give Kval a call, and we'll be more than happy to help you figure that out. If there's one red flash at a time on that very top one, that's telling you that your Ethercat cable is not connected at one end or the other. And this should also be mentioned on the screen as well, on the monitor screen. So take a look at that. Sometimes, you know, if someone's in there and they unplug a Ethernet cable, it's just a cable like you have on the back of your computer. It just plugs right in from one module to the other. And you got to make sure you get them correct. If you look at the electrical prints, we have a mapping of how it all goes. If it's not to that mapping, you'll get the same condition. Okay? And if you get 2 flashes, you better check your monitor. Basically what it is, the 2 flashes is going to be, it's going to be one of your VFDs is not working correctly. Maybe a servo amp it's airing out. It's a motor or an overload. So it has something to do with the motors and stuff, okay, or your VFDs. It's one of those components that's not working correctly. So the good thing you can do is once you determine which one it is, we could go to the manufacturer's book and look under troubleshooting, and they have really good descriptions now on telling you what to go look for and how to correct that problem. Okay, the last condition is on the red light for the machine status is the 3 flashing lights. This is your 24-volt power supply. Some machines have one, some have more than one. So you want to go and verify that all your power supplies have green lights on them. There's a little indicator on them that show the green lights. So if one of them doesn't have a green light, what we probably need to do is remove the brown wire off the plus and verify that the power supply is working correctly. If that looks good, then we're going to go down and look at the current limiter modules, make sure they're working correctly. And then what probably the main issue would be is a sensor or a short in the 24-volt system on one of your eyes. So we could, at that point, you pull the wire off of the one that's having the issue, and if the light goes green, then at that point you can just trace that wire out to where the issue is on the machine and take a look at it there. And also they do, if you look on the monitor, it could be a possibility that it'll tell you on the monitor which sensor is not working. The fourth condition that instead of that blue light could be a yellow light. And this doesn't come on very often at all. Basically, it's something that's going to be used in the future. It's for external machine errors. So if a condition like this happens, it could be like you have like a dust collection unit that you want to make sure is on when you're running your machine. So we have a sensor detecting that that's working correctly, and that would come on. So that'd be like a solid yellow. And then if you have a 1 flash yellow, that means your 3-phase is not correct. So what we need to do is take a look at your 3-phase and make sure your fuses are good coming to the machine, make sure the fuses in the machine are good, and figure out why our voltage level has dropped. If you get 2 yellow flashes, that means the air pressure is low on the machine. So at that point you want to go to your main FRL and verify that there's a you have your 90 PSI coming to the machine. And if you do have your 90, you then can go look at, there's a sensor on the machine, and you can look at that sensor and make sure that it's set up correctly, the settings are right, and then if all that looks good, we're probably going to have to replace the air pressure sensor. The next condition is blue, which that's where we're at right now. Blue is telling you that the operator has to do something manually. And in this condition, it's solid right now. So what that's telling us is that we got to hit the start machine button. Or actually, we got to home the machine. I'm sorry, we have to home the machine in this situation. Okay, so we could home the machine, and then that should turn green. The other thing that, if it's a solid, it could be that you need to clamp up a jam, like on a 990 for like the jam clamps. So you have to put a jam in there and clamp it. It could be that you need to rehome the machine like it is in this state, or you need to, you know, unclamp and reclamp a door. Most of the time the message will be on your screen, okay? One flash is telling you that you need to reposition the door manually. And then the last condition is green. When the light is green, that means the machine is ready to operate. Okay, I'm going to push in an e-stop here so you can see one of the signals that shows up on our monitor here, okay? I'm going to push the e-stop here right on the console here, right here below the monitor. As you can see, right away it comes up with e-stop, main console, e-stop activated. So if I hit the, you can hit the close button, it goes away. And it tells you that it lost its main power because we hit an e-stop. And if you look up here, it was blocked by main console e-stop. And if you look up there, the light is blinking blue. So what I need to do now is I need to turn off my e-stop. So I'm going to turn that off. And then it shows you on the screen here, waiting to start machine. So I'm going to hit start machine button. And then it's going to start initializing the machine status. It's blue. And then right here it says ready to home. So all I do is home the machine, and then all my lights turn green again. Okay, if on your safety light tier, the middle one, if you see that it's a clear light up there, nothing's happening, you want to come in here and look at these yellow modules here. These are your safety modules. And make sure there's no blinking lights on any of those modules. If there is, write it down, look at your electrical print, and then call Kval and we'll help you get it figured out. On the control circuit, if you don't have any lights, what we need to do is start looking at the 24-volt power supply first. You want to verify that you have a green light right there. If you don't, then we're going to have to pull the wires off the DC or plus up here, which are the 2 plus ones. Pull the brown wires off them and see if that light comes on. If it doesn't, we probably have a bad power supply, but you can check voltage between plus and minus. It should be 24 volts DC. If you do have 24 volts DC, then we're going to have to go down and start looking at our control circuit. Once on the control circuit, once you have your 24 volts green and everything's determined, then we need to start looking at your control power switch out there on the main console. So if you come over here, there's a label here called SW1. You want to go between there and DC minus with your multimeter and check for 24 volts. You should have 24 volts if that switch is on. If that's the case, then we come over here and look at our CTRL. It's our control relay here. And from there, it powers up between 13 and 14. That's your DC minus, your DC plus, that turns this on. And when that happens, we actually turn on the power behind it here. We have 24 volts going in here. We come out and then we start powering up our DC1 here, which turns on the power to the rest of the machine. If we don't have power between DC1 and DC minus, then the machine won't start up. So we want to verify that this contact is closed. If we have the green light on here, we have to verify that this contact is closed. That will turn on your between 0V, which is your DC minus, and your DC1. Once you have that on, the control circuit should be on and you should have a green light on your bottom tower light.